tonight on Evening.
The Seahawks mascot Blitz!
See how the Seahawks are getting little 12s ready for a big future. Why bargain hunters are flocking to a colorful shop on Tacoma's Antique Road. And the Northwest-made crispy condiment that's gained a foodie following.
We're just so grateful and so thankful for all of the support.
Welcome to the show from MOHAI, the Museum of History and Industry in Seattle. I'm St. Brian, and we are here to get a sneak peek at a new exhibition opening this weekend that celebrates the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela. You'll see a hut recreated from the future world leader's childhood. Pages of an autobiography handwritten in secret during nearly 30 years of imprisonment, and Mandela's brightly patterned Madiba shirts that became a symbol of post-apartheid South Africa. They're all part of Mandela, the official exhibition, opening in a matter of several busy days for curator Sarah Hogan.
He really is one of those people who lived, what he believed, and he pushed for what is right. And he is an example that we can all do that.
In a country so bitterly divided among racial lines that black South Africans were denied the right to vote, much less sit on some benches, Mandela sought unity, justice, and freedom.
South Africa is a country of many races. There is room for all the various races in this country.
White leaders responded by imprisoning Mandela for decades, trying to break his spirit.
He was often in solitary confinement.
Outrage spread across the globe. In Seattle, demonstrators protested in front of the South African consulate, demanding an end to apartheid. As president, Mandela visited Seattle in 1999 to say thanks.
He wanted to recognize the participation of Seattle and the people of Seattle.
Now Seattle has a chance to learn more about the man who became a symbol for freedom.
I cry a little bit every time I take it down, and I smile every time I put it up, because it's really important, and it's so important today.
Mandela, the official exhibition, opens on Saturday and runs through September 7th. You may already be hearing your kids complaining. Thanks to U.S. tariffs on China, the days of fast fashion may be coming to an end. No more $2 t-shirts and $3 bikinis. All of that shipping hasn't been great for the planet anyway. So now bargain hunters are returning to thrift stores like Peppermint Tuna on Tacoma's Antique Row.
I think that people are more open to being unique. I think it's more on trend to be slightly different than being so cookie cutter.
Crystal Wynn is on a mission to bring bold colors back in fashion, all while saving the environment from super cheap and super disposable clothes shipped across an ocean.
If I can get people away from that, I feel like I'm doing something for the planet, for the earth.
Since opening her shop, Peppermint Tuna, in 2023, she's catered to people like Heidi Behol, searching for the right thing at the right kind of price.
It's like a treasure hunt, I guess. Like looking at things and finding things that I've never really seen in regular stores.
Cecil Perez is looking for a leather jacket that doesn't give off Terminator vibes.
She definitely had a good variety, bigger sizes, smaller sizes.
Crystal is more than a shopkeeper. She's the star of Peppermint Tuna's social media accounts.
It is fun, but I get kind of nervous that I'm putting myself out there too much. I don't know if the public wants to see this face all the time.
I know the feeling, but each post is really dedicated to the clothes Crystal has curated for her customers.
I don't know, it feels good when somebody actually takes the time out to say, hey, you look really good, or that outfit's really nice. Where'd you get it from? Oh, well, I curated it myself.
Outfits like this Penny Lane coat that just came in.
It's embroidered, has fur collar with cuffs. It's beautiful.
90s sportswear may be hotter than ever.
Depending on if it's warm or cold outside, I would do short shorts with some high boots and then a big sports jacket on top with a smaller crop top. Yeah, little femme, little masculine.
Old can be new again, and in a sunny shop full of colorful vintage clothes, Crystal Wynn has found her happy place.
It makes me so happy. Like, it's definitely a pay cut, for sure, but it pays and fills my happiness cup. I'd rather do this than have tons of money and be unhappy.
You really do need to keep that happiness cup full. Peppermint Tuna is open Wednesday through Sunday from 12:30 to 5:30. If you're looking for some sort of condiment that gives food an extra crunchy kick, well, there's a husband and wife team in Seattle that has come up with something that is gaining a huge following all around the country.
From the start of Ruby Sparks and Rob Grissett's relationship, family and food have always been at the forefront of their lives.
Some people like to go to museums, we just like eating.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's all we want to do.
We've been to Mexico, South America, to Japan, China, Thailand. I come from a multicultural family. I'm half Japanese and African American and half Irish Italian, and so I grew up with a lot of varied, strong influences, and that was definitely reflected with the food I grew up with.
One of the foods the couple loves is chili crisp, an oil and chili-based condiment popular in Asian cuisine.
We just got really into chili crisp several years ago, and we got really interested in what would be our perfect chili crisp. We just started iterating batch after batch after batch and tweaking small things and testing it with people and running it again for a really long time until we got to that ultimate version.
That ultimate version became the chili crisp kari kari.
We named it kari kari for my grandma. And so kari kari is a Japanese word, one of the many words that means crunchy or crispy in Japanese.
Chili crisp may have gotten its start in the Far East, but Ruby and Rob make their creation in a commercial kitchen near South Seattle.
We went through dozens of chilies, just tasting them, and then combining them in different ways to really create this bouquet that as you eat it, you get kind of like a heat, a little smoke, a little chew.
The number one thing that most people notice right away is that big crunch, because we have those really big pieces of crispy golden garlic that float to the top.
Kari kari's unique flavor has gained a huge following, with fans putting it on just about everything.
Everybody loves with eggs, with grilled meats, any kind of protein like that. But it's also really fun to mix it in with fats, mix it in with the cream cheese, mix it in with the sour cream, mix it with an ice cream.
In the beginning, we were making just a few hundred a week, and now we make around 2,000 jars a week.
Even though we've grown so much, right? We started with one store and we're in close to 400 now. That's barely scratching the surface as far as like where people buy food, So there is still way more runway to grow.
Food and family, two ingredients that have given Ruby and Rob a recipe for success.
We're just so grateful and so thankful for all of the support. I mean, truly, truly, truly.
You can find kari kari in local stores and also on their website.
Still to come.
We have America's first woman astronaut.
Meet the director behind the new documentary on Sally Ride and where you can see it at SIF. But up next, how the Seahawks are making a game plan to make kids better readers.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
A reimagined Seattle is the setting of Season 2 in the HBO Max hit The Last of Us. And this Seattle of the future has really let herself go. I am so not looking forward to the post-apocalypse now. Based on a video game franchise, The Last of Us follows survivors of a pandemic caused by a massive fungal infection that turns people into violent, zombie-like creatures. Though there are peaceful moments, like this scene in a Capitol Hill music shop.
I'll be gone.
The Season 2 finale airs Sunday night. Welcome back to the show from MOHAI, where a new exhibition celebrating the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela opens on Saturday. The Seattle Seahawks are still months away from taking the field in their home opener, but the Seahawks organization, they have been busy in the classroom all year round. At Tacoma Elementary, kids are filing into the gym for what they think is just another assembly. But this is no ordinary gathering.
Please give it up for the Seahawks mascot, Blitz!
This is a rally for reading.
The Seahawks are here this morning to recognize Tukwila Elementary for their reading efforts as part of the 12 Pages reading program. The 12 Pages reading program presented by PEMCO really falls under one of our 6 community pillars, youth empowerment, encouraging the love of reading and also continuing to read when school's out and during the summer break when there's lots of options to do many things, but we want to make sure that reading is one of them.
One of the ways the Seahawks encourage kids to read after school lets out, their Summer Reading Challenge.
What that program does is encourages kids to sign up and log their reading minutes. And as they're logging these minutes, they earn prizes. Cool Seahawks prizes.
That explains why Blitz is here and the Seahawk dancers. But there's yet another surprise.
So excited to be here with you guys. Give it up for Seahawks legend, Gary Gilliam.
We have legend Gary Gilliam, former offensive tackle and author of The Bleacher Garden, a children's book.
Former Seahawk players as reading role models.
In a dark and gray city with no gardens in sight, people long for fresh food that was healthy and bright.
Thanks to the teaming up of the Seahawks and PEMCO Insurance, the Summer Reading Challenge already has a winning record.
We've been arm in arm with the Seahawks over the last year with this program, and when we look at things like the Summer Reading Challenge, last summer, over 722,000 minutes were logged. That's a 200% increase over the year before.
Good job, going for 2.
Since PEMCO's participation, we've over doubled minutes read, increased participation, increased distribution of books, resources, but I really think we're gonna hit 1 million minutes this year.
It's a lofty goal, but encouraging kids to read now will help these little 12s have a big future.
The smiles on their faces, the excitement, it's a great reminder of how lucky we are to be in a community with an incredible team like the Seahawks who really give back to the community and partners like PEMCO who take priority in supporting community initiatives like literacy.
Dare you to fall asleep during that assembly? Want to learn more about the Seahawks 12 Pages Summer Reading Challenge? Head over to our website, king5evening.com. Well, women are taking center stage at the Seattle International Film Festival this week, where a new documentary explores the life of the first American woman in space. We spoke to the director of Sally.
Main engine start and liftoff. We have America's first woman astronaut.
Houston, you're loud and clear now.
In 1983, Sally Ride was the most famous person in the world, a hero and role model to many, including a little girl who would become Emmy Award-winning director Christina Costantini.
I thought if a woman could do that, maybe I could do big things too.
As part of a school project, Christina painted a mural of Sally Ride. Now she's taken on a much bigger and complex project, telling her hero's life story.
Dr. Wright, a couple of fast, quick questions here, sir, ma'am. During your training, when there was a problem, how did you respond? Do you weep?
Why doesn't anybody ask Rick those questions?
I think Sally knew that she was under a microscope, and she knew that if she, messed it up, she would be messing it up for half of the world's population, and they might not let women go back into space again if she didn't do it perfectly. And so she had a really difficult line to walk.
And that meant keeping a secret about her private life.
Sally risked everything to make history. But telling the world about us was a risk she just couldn't take.
I mean, she definitely would not have been the first woman in space if she was out and queer at the time.
It wasn't until Sally died of pancreatic cancer in 2012 that the world learned she had a life partner in Tam O'Shaughnessy. Much of the documentary is a story of their complicated love affair.
I think so often famous people end up hurting the ones closest to them for the benefit of people they'll never meet.
it's time people realize women in this country can do any job that they want to do.
A lot of great people like the Sally Rides of the world sacrificed a lot so that we could be where we are today. And I think, this film is really for anybody who's ever had to hide part of themselves to get where they want to be. And I think in 2025, that's a more relatable experience than ever.
Space changed for all time when Sally went up. I really dreamed of getting a chance to go into space. And unbelievably, that dream came true.
Sally screens tomorrow night at SIF Cinema downtown at 6 p.m. The film festival runs through Sunday, and the movie next month will start streaming on National Geographic, Disney Plus, and Hulu.
Hi, I'm Tom Douglas, and today we're going to jump in and get our fingers dirty eating spot prawns from Hood Canal. How good does that look, huh?
Portions of Evening are sponsored by Pemco Insurance.
Can you believe we live here? We love exploring the Pacific Northwest and bringing you along for the hike. Let us know where we should go next via email or any social media platform.
Welcome back to the show from MOHAI. Spot prawn season starts this week. Chef Tom Douglas shows us how to cook those delicacies from the deep. He joins us from the Hot Stove Society Kitchen.
Hey everybody, every change of season brings its own special dish into my repertoire. And yesterday I was in the market and there were spot prawns. Spot prawns match up with spring new peas, new potatoes, fresh cream from spring grasses. So, I mean, this is just the time to celebrate what's happening in our whole farmland marketplace situations. I took some new potatoes and I blanched them so that they're cooked, because all I'm going to do now is kind of warm them up in a little bit of fresh cream. With new peas, you don't really have to cook them. You can eat them like candy. They're so sweet. But I'm going to warm them up with my potatoes so that we have a nice little base for our spot prawns. Don't want to forget to salt and pepper them. Don't go overboard. Now, spot prawns, you have to eat them right away. If you do have them and you're not going to eat them right away, just take the heads off and save the tails. I'm going to just take my knife and go right through, and when I season them, they're going to grab all that flavor. Okay, a little bit of pressed lemon olive oil. Again, a little salt and pepper. Okay, and then these are going to go right onto my grill. There's something about spot prawn season. It's just awesome. Okay, you can see my potatoes and my peas have come to a bit of a boil. We're just going to let them simmer to make sure they're hot all the way through. Shrimp, 50% of the flavor, in my opinion, is in the shell. So I always try to cook shrimp shell on when possible. And let's face it, it's kind of fun to lick your fingers and pick the shell off. You want to come in tight on this. You can see it looks done from the outside, but if you look on the inside, it's still got a translucent center, but the outside is opaque. That's kind of where we want to be, right? We want to be just a second longer on those. Oh, how good does that look? Are you kidding? Fresh peas, fresh new potatoes. Now I've got my shrimp on with lemon olive oil. Just gonna pile them right in the center there. All right, now let's cut some dill. And let's cut some chives. And then if you want, this is another little touch that I think is nice. This is a salty feta, sheep's milk cheese, and just finish with a little bit of salty feta. This could be an appetizer for 4, an entree for 2. What we know it is it's darn delicious.
That looks delicious. Thank you so much, Chef. Chef Tom Douglas's spot prawn recipe just happens to be on our website.
After the break, watch the boats go by at Seattle's Ballard Locks. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from Pemco Insurance. Pemco empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at pemco.com.
That is going to do it for us here at MOHAI, where the Nelson Mandela exhibition opens on Saturday and runs through September 7th. We're going to leave you now with some sights and sounds from Ballard Locks. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.